Hello and welcome to Module 1.4, Discovering Your Membership Path. So now that you understand the membership map, you understand why memberships work, and you have your daily success habits, it's time to discover your unique membership path. Now, don't worry if you feel uncertain about this. I'm going to show you how to gain clarity through simple, actionable steps inside this module. So let's make it happen. So let me walk you through exactly what we'll be covering in this module. First, we'll explore the clarity framework. So this is a really simple system that just helps you choose your direction without getting overwhelmed. Remember, that's the key. That's my goal for you here, to get you momentum without the overwhelm. Now, this is particularly important because I've seen so many people get stuck at the step of trying to find the perfect niche, which, by the way, doesn't really exist. So we'll help you get past that mindset and land on what you believe is your unique contribution. So that clarity framework is going to be really important. Then after that, we'll create your dream member blueprint. So this is where we'll get real clarity on exactly who you're going to love serving in your membership. So who are your dream members? Because if you're going to build this business for the long term, you want to feel energized and lit up by the people that you're serving, not drained and exhausted and depressed at the thought of having to show up for them. So we want to make sure we start with who do we want to help? Then we build the offer around that. When I built my very first membership, this step was crucial in attracting the right people. Then from there, we'll go through the validation process. So at this step, I'll show you exactly how to ensure that there's a real demand out there for your membership before you go and invest significant time into it. I learned this the hard way again in my early businesses, but you now don't have to with this validation process. And then finally, I'm going to give you the clear action steps, the implementation plan to actually move forward with confidence so that by the end of this module, you know exactly what to do to bring your membership vision to life. So let's get into it. So let's start with what I call the clarity framework. Now, when I first started building my online businesses and membership business, I felt pretty lost about which direction to take at certain points. I was thinking, well, should I focus on beginners? Should I focus on experts? Should I cover everything? Should I try and specialize and niche down? And these questions, if I look back, kept me stuck unnecessarily for months. And that's exactly why I developed this framework. So think of this like a compass for your own membership journey. This will help you navigate past all of the confusion and just find your perfect direction. I've distilled this down into 3 essential elements that make the whole process crystal clear. So let me dive into how it works for you. First, we'll break down each element of this clarity framework, and I'll show you exactly how they work together. So the first thing we have is passion and expertise. So this is about identifying what naturally energizes and excites you. For me, I discovered that I could talk about e-commerce and building online businesses all day without getting tired. And so this for me was a clear signal. When you're building a membership, you need that natural enthusiasm because you're going to be creating content and supporting members in this area regularly. So ask yourself, what topics light you up in the same way? However, that's only the first part. The next part is what we call market reality. So this part's crucial because we're not trying to create some completely new market here. Instead, what we want to do is find where people are already actively seeking solutions. It's much easier to do that than it is to try to create new demand. Just find out what are people already looking for. The best opportunities often exist in spaces where people are already spending money to solve their problems. So I'll show you exactly how to research this using School's Discover feature, which is really powerful, and some other simple tools as well. And then finally, we have the implementation path. So these are the clear, actionable steps to validate and refine and distill your direction. Instead of you getting stuck in analysis paralysis, just confused by all of the options, you'll now have a very specific set of actions to take after this module. Remember, clarity comes from taking action, not from endlessly planning. That just leads to confusion. And I learned this the hard way myself, but it was so that you don't now have to. So these 3 elements all kind of work together to give you real confidence in your direction of your membership. And don't worry if you're not sure about all of them yet, because the purpose of this module is we're going to dive into each of them and we'll work through them step by step without the overwhelm, remember. So let's explore what I call the Dream Member Blueprint. This one's really exciting because this forms the foundation of whether you enjoy running your business or not. So pay attention to this one. Now, imagine an architect, right, carefully designing a building. That architect first has to think about, well, who's the building for? Who will this building serve? Who will be living in it or who will be working in it? And then who will the building's occupants be so that I can kind of create the design to meet the needs of the people? So in the same way, we're going to design your membership around the members that you absolutely love serving. So it's like an architect being able to say, well, who do I want to design a building for? Those seem like great occupants. Let me design the building for them. We're kind of reverse engineering the process. So you get to start with who you want to serve, then build it around them. This is amazingly powerful, but it's not to be underestimated. So many people jump straight into the tactical, straight into trying to take action, and then they build something that attracts the wrong type of members that they don't really want to work with, and they end up not enjoying running the business. So what we're going to do is start by defining who we actually want to help and who we want to serve. I know when I first built my membership, I skipped this step early on and ended up with a few members who probably weren't quite the right fit for it. But once I developed this approach, this dream member blueprint, I started to see everything change. I started to see the members that were coming in were way more aligned. They were action takers. They were positive. They wanted to help each other. So I'm going to show you exactly how to get clarity on who your ideal members are, making sure your membership naturally attracts those people who energize you and inspire you. So let's break down each element of your dream member blueprint. So what actually makes a dream member? Well, first thing is energizing qualities. I know when I first built my membership, I discovered that I was most energized by working with action takers who actually implemented what they learned. This helped me then design content specifically for those people. So it was a really good place to start. The next is something called natural alignment. Now, this is crucial as well because this is like the overlap between where your expertise naturally meets their needs, the market's needs. So in my case, my background, or for the last few years, I'd built a successful e-commerce business. And so that expertise aligned perfectly with members who were wanting to do the same. For you, it will most likely be different. So start to think about what your area of expertise really is that other people out there need. What's that overlap? Now, one way to find your dream members is to define your success signals. So these are the kind of traits that indicate someone will thrive in your community and do really well in your membership. For me, this included people who value long-term success over just like some quick fixes. They wanted to be there to run their business for the long term. So knowing this up front helps me attract the right members who stick around and end up getting results in the long term. Then finally, value exchange, which is kind of about being clear on how they'll benefit from your guidance. For example, inside the membership where you are right now watching this, if you are, or if you're on YouTube, you can join using the link below this video. I know that my members need clear, actionable steps to build their own membership communities. So I design my content to deliver exactly that. So I'm going to show you exactly how to identify these elements using your Dream Member Identifier tool in just a moment. So once we've then defined who our ideal dream members would be, hypothetically, what we must then do, the critical step, and many people skip this step and they end up failing because of it, but we're not going to do that, is what I call the validation journey. And so this is where we make sure that there is real demand for your membership before you go and invest significant time and energy into building it. But don't worry though, this won't be some drawn out, complex market research, overwhelming analysis exercise. The point of this is to get validation and to keep you moving forwards, keeping our momentum going. Remember, without the overwhelm, that's the plan. I see many people have to learn this step the hard way through spending ages building their membership without first validating it, only for them to later inevitably fail. So that's why it's really important that we do this step now so that then we're building on strong foundations right from the start. So I've developed a really simple approach that takes all of the guesswork out of this process, and I'm going to show you how to validate your idea in a way that builds your confidence and clarity at the same time. So then let's explain the steps of validating your membership idea. So many people make the mistake of trying to create something completely new, but we know better. Ever heard the expression, don't try to reinvent the wheel? The wheel is a pretty good invention, probably doesn't need reinventing anytime soon. So first, what we need to do is find existing success. This involves looking for communities and memberships who are already serving your dream members. Now, what this does is it proves that people will actually pay money for help in your niche. So I'll show you exactly how using the membership validation blueprint. The next thing we need to do is model what works. Note, I did not say copy what works. We model, we take inspiration from, but we add our own unique personality and spin and our flair to it. And we fill in the gaps that we believe they missed the first time to make it even better for your members. You're unique, so you can add your unique contribution to something, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need to reinvent the wheel from scratch. Learn from successful communities. If they are already succeeding, if they're making money, and if they're helping people, what is it that they offer? How do they structure their membership? This gives us a proven foundation to then be able to build upon. So once we then have that, we can add your unique value. So our aim is not to be completely different to the point where it's no longer a product market fit because we've moved so far away from what was originally proven to work. It's about bringing your personal experience and your perspective to an already proven approach. So what unique insights can you share based on the journey that you've had to get to the point where you are in your life at the moment? And then finally, test simple first. We'll start with minimal investment options using school's free trial, for example, to validate your idea before we scale up. This removes the pressure of getting everything perfect from day one. We just get to start and test as we go. That's okay. We can always pivot later if we need to. So that's kind of the overview of the plan then. But you might be thinking, well, okay, Lewis, it sounds like a good plan, but how do we actually do this? How do we implement what I just explained? Well, that's where we come to what I believe is the most exciting part of all of this, which is the implementation path. So this is where everything that we've learned now turns into action. Remember, micro actions in a non-overwhelming way build that compound success that get us this business up and running. So when I first started out with my online businesses, I often got stuck in the planning phases and I was tweaking and adjusting and finding myself getting distracted and procrastinating. But in all of the years since where I've built and run online businesses, I've realized more and more every year that actually clarity comes from taking action in the right sequence. So you just need to get moving and it needs to be in a sequential order. So what I'm going to show you is exactly how to map out your next steps so that you can move forward with confidence, knowing that each action builds naturally on the last, like a staircase. Imagine we're on this path or trail, and that along that path, you've got these kind of checkpoints along the way, ensuring that we don't go off track. Each of the steps that we go through is like a checkpoint that takes us a little bit closer to our destination. So let me show you exactly how this works. So below this video, I've created 4 really powerful micro action sheets that will give you complete clarity about your membership direction. So I've designed these to work together in a specific sequence. Each one then builds on the insights from the previous one. And after this module, your action will be to go through these sheets one by one and just complete them. So we start off with the Dream Member Identifier sheet. So let me just open that and share it with you now. Okay, so this is the Dream Member Identifier, and this is kind of your foundation and arguably the most important worksheet of all. Think of this as like your North Star that's going to guide you through every other decision about your membership. We've got to get crystal clear on exactly who you want to serve and why they will be perfect for your community. So you can see the worksheet here. It's comprised of a few different pages with very straightforward questions. All you need to do is head into the box and answer those questions, and you put your answer here. Doesn't have to be in bold though. And as you go through, you complete that sheet, and then that will give you everything you need for future modules. But this really is the foundation. So you work your way through here. And if you want guidance through completing this worksheet, then there'll be a video linked inside page number 1 at the top there. So click the link to that video that you'll see in here after this module, and then that will guide you through that step of completing that worksheet. And so once you've completed the Dream Member Identifier worksheet, next comes the Membership Validation Blueprint. So we've decided who we want our Dream members to be, hypothetically. Now we actually have to confirm that there's real demand for our membership idea. So I'll show you that worksheet now. So this is the Membership Validation Blueprint. And this is where we'll confirm that demand actually exists for your membership before you go and invest loads of time and money in creating anything. So through following the steps in this micro action sheet, you'll be able to watch the video that'll be linked here and follow the steps through, answer the questions. You can simply just fill in the questions below so that by the end of that, you'll know what your dream members are already buying, where they're gathering, what they're willing to pay for, and it'll give you a really nice validation that you're on the right track, and that if you're not, it will show you how to tweak as well. So again, that worksheet includes a video at the top on page 1 that will guide you through exactly how to conduct your research efficiently and go through the process. So then once you've completed your Dream Member Identifier micro action sheet and then your Membership Validation Blueprint as well, you know who your dream members are, and you've validated that there's a market for them where others are already succeeding. At that point, we move on to the niche clarity sheet. And that's where everything starts to now come together. So this one is where you'll then take what you learned about your dream members and the market validation to create a really clear, focused direction for your membership. So again, there's a video that'll be linked in page number 1 of this micro action sheet. It's guiding you through each of the steps on how to turn your research into a winning membership concept. And then finally, there's the momentum checkpoint. So think of this as kind of like a quality check before we move forward. So I just opened the momentum checkpoint micro action sheet for you now. So yeah, this is the momentum checkpoint. And this is really powerful as well, because we want to ensure that at this stage, we haven't missed anything critical and that we've got complete confidence in our direction before we start moving full steam ahead with it. This is kind of just like a final quality check before we start powering ahead and building things. So the video again will be linked at the beginning of the momentum checkpoint worksheet. There'll be videos in all of these micro action sheets so that you don't have to do them on your own. You are following along with me as I guide you through how to do it. And the videos will always be linked on page 1. And they'll help you understand the steps that you need to take and show you exactly how to do it. So that might feel like a lot, but remember, they're just micro action worksheets. You just download each of them and you go through them sequentially, one at a time. And so that's what you'll be moving on to next. But before you do, let's just quickly recap what we've covered in this video. So you now understand the clarity framework that helps you choose your direction without overwhelm. You have your dream member blueprint that will help you identify who you want to serve. You'll know how to validate your idea using our simple process, and you have the clear implementation steps to move forward with confidence. So remember, each piece builds upon the last, and it gives you a complete roadmap and a path for discovering your perfect membership. And so, as promised, here are your exact next steps to maintain your momentum. First thing you need to do: below this video, download all 4 micro action sheets that are linked below. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then you can click below to join our free community and access all of these linked below the module inside our free community. Start with your Dream Member Identifier worksheet, because this is the one that then sets the foundation for everything else that's to come. Next, if you haven't already, start your free trial of School. Head over to lewissmith.co/school, and that gives you access to the School games, which we talked about earlier, where you can see successful memberships in action and get inspired and see other community owners just like you who are succeeding as well. It's a great place to be. And then after you've completed all of the other micro action sheets, all 4 of them linked below this video, if you haven't already, the next action would be to book your membership game plan call using the link below this video. We'll review your completed micro action sheets together and put together a personalized plan for your membership success. So these steps might seem simple, but that's the way I intended them. Don't underestimate them. As remember, my goal here is to break this up into simple micro actions for you. So even though they look simple, that's exactly what you need to do to move forward with clarity. So don't underestimate them and make sure you actually do them. And finally, remember this: the path becomes clear when you take the first step. Every successful membership started exactly where you are right now, with an idea and the courage to take action on that idea. So complete your micro action sheets below this video, and I'll see you inside the next module. Let's make it happen.